Good morning, everyone. Today's math lesson is More Analyzing Patterns, which is topic 15, lesson 2. Let's start with a 2-question warm-up. Which point on this coordinate grid is named by the ordered pair 2, 3? If you answered C, you are correct. The ordered pair is always written with your x coordinate first and your y coordinate second. So when you're looking at 2, you're going on the x-axis, this x number line, over 2, and on the y-axis, this y number line, you're going up 3. And that is how you end up at point C. Remember, x goes this way, and you would do X to flex your muscles because X goes left to right, and Y goes to the sky. It goes up and down. The next question says to find the difference between 7/8 and 2/3. Go ahead and mark your answer. Well, you need a common denominator, and I know that the common denominator of 8 and 3 is 24. So as I set up my equivalent fractions, I'm thinking about what I'm multiplying 8 with to get 24, and it's 3. So I do the same to my numerator. Here, my denominator is multiplied by 8, so my numerator is, and now I simply find the difference. And that is how you came up with the correct answer of 15 24s. Good job. Let's go ahead and start the lesson. During summer vacation, Julie read 45 pages each day. Her brother, Brett, read 15 pages each day. I think it should say during the coronavirus quarantine. Complete the tables to show how many pages each of them read after 5 days. What relationship do you notice between the terms in each pattern? The term is just a number in the pattern. First, we have 2 different patterns to fill out. Julie's pattern is plus 45 every day because that's how much she's reading each day. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in Julie's numbers by adding 45 to every day. And now let's go ahead and look at what Brett reads. 15 each day, so his pattern is plus 15. As I fill in his chart, it's easy to see the difference, right? The relationship between the 2 terms in each pattern. Well, after 5 days, Julie reads 225 and Brett reads 75. How do those 2 numbers relate? That's not as easy to see a difference. You could subtract them and find that the difference between the 2 numbers is 150. But that's not what it's asking because that's not consistent between every time the pattern is moving. So it's not an adding and subtracting pattern. You could say that between 15 to 45 or 30 to 90, I do notice that that is 3 times as many in Julie's chart as it is in Brett's chart. For day 1, Julie has 3 times as more. For day 2, Julie has 3 times as more. That's my relationship between the 2 terms in the pattern. The original question asked how many pages each of them read after 5 days. Do you see a shortcut there that you could have used? Did you need to fill in every day on the chart as we move along, or is there something else you could have done? If she's reading 45 pages a day, after 5 days, I could just multiply that, and I would in fact get the same number of pages I have. So you can use multiplication because I am just simply using repeated addition to fill out my chart. Let's look at how the others solved it. Drew and Carson both filled out their charts accurately. Whose answer is better? I agree. Carson's is a little more thorough because he's talking about the relationship between the terms in the pattern. And he mentions that. The visual learning problem states that Jack is training for a race. Each week he runs 30 miles and he bikes 120 miles. He created a table to record his progress. How many total miles will he run and bike after 5 weeks? Can you identify any relationship between the miles run and the miles biked? Well, we just did that trick. If I want to know it after 5 weeks, I'm sure you could multiply 30 times 5 and figure out. But I'm going to fill in the chart that we have here because the chart is useful. And I know that 30 times 5, or after 5 weeks, he will have ran 150 miles. The miles biked increases by 120. So every week, I'm simply adding 120. The question did say, how many total miles will he run and bike after 5 weeks? So I would take 150 and 600 and say that he ran and biked 750 miles. The question also asked me for the relationship between the two. 30 to 120 is a difference of 90. But 60 plus 90 is not 240. We are not adding here. We're multiplying the difference. How many times would I multiply 30 to get 120? Or 60 to get 240? How many times as much are the miles biked compared to the miles ran? Exactly, 4 times. Every one of those numbers in the miles ran is a number that when I multiply times 4, I get the number of miles biked. There you have it. That is the relationship between the terms. Each one of these numbers is a term in the pattern, and now I have correctly identified the relationship between the two. Do you think the relationship will always be the same? Will it always be 4 times as many? It should, as long as the pattern of miles run is plus 30 and the miles biked is plus 120, it will always be increasing by 4 times as many. Can you try this now? If Maria and Henry are each starting a savings account, Maria puts $250 in her account each month. Henry puts $125 in his account each month. How much money will each of them save after 6 months? Complete the table to solve. How much after 6 months for Maria? Yep, after 6 months, if Maria's putting $250 in, and I know that 250 times 6 would give me a very easy answer of $1,500, you could go ahead and fill out the whole week 2, 3, 4, and 5, but you don't need to answer this question. How much money will Henry have saved? Well, Henry started at $125 a week, and he is saving for 6 months as well. So when I go ahead and add that, I see that Henry has saved $750. There's my relationship between the two. Henry to Maria. Maria saves twice as much money every month. And so every month that you would compare the terms, the value from Henry's money to Maria, Henry's money times 2 will always equal Maria. How'd you do? All right, go ahead and do the practice buddy now. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.